And we are live, Pontiac Power Hour, episode 33, with our special guest tonight. And I am currently hanging out at Square Body Ranch. Chad,
Buff,
there he is.
It appears you got a shadow, buddy.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of the shadows. The beard gets longer as the shadow moves away.
I was to say, your shadow's better looking than you. How's that work?
Well, you know, we can't all be perfect. But yeah, so I'm on the road this weekend. I'm headed to the truck gathering, and it's nice enough to loan me Cream Puff for the drive. So you're going to be seeing stuff on that this weekend. And yes, it's not a Pontiac, but it's a hell of a truck, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I drove all the way to central Missouri.
Yeah, South Central.
And then we're going to go to Oklahoma tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm headed to Springfield, Missouri for the Midwest Muscle Car Show. Yeah, throw the old Punisher car in it and see if we can't embarrass some people.
2 weekends in a row.
Yeah. You know, I like.
So if you guys haven't seen that, we got a lot of content out of that Hot Rod 100, and I got a video coming, but we've got a lot of shorts that we put out because there's a lot of cool stuff at that show.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And of course, smoky burnouts in the Punisher car.
Yeah, it does do that.
Yes, it does. I want to hit the chat real quick. Yeah, it's got we got PJ's Rusted and Busted Garage. We got Hunter from Sand Mountain Ballistics. Cousin Mike is here. Travis is here from Perpetual Projects. Danny Boyd. Tony K is here. ASO is in the chat. Mohawk is here. Let's see who else we got. Scarlet Four-Eyed Cuda, Jason's Garage. Got some repeats. Pure Pontiac Garage made it here. I'm still scrolling. Colleen
Scarlet Four-Eyed Cuda is already answering the trivia questions, man.
Oh, wow. I haven't even asked the questions yet. Okay, fine. He probably won't. We don't even know. Deborah's Loving Life is here. Justin Hill, hello. And
Ugly Truck Experience.
Yep.
Emily and Jerry.
Roland's here. Torque Racing Production.
And I need Roland to message me.
You need them to message you?
I need Roland to message me. I want to have him make me some stuff.
Yeah, he might be making me something for the Brian Vantana. So if you guys haven't watched that video, it just gives you that, vibe of this guy is going to have a bottle of Sex Panther in the front seat there. Did I say Colleen Tebow? She's here, 38 POS Racing. Fox Can Fix It. Oh, my goodness. So many of you here, and I'm thankful for every one of you. If I miss you, I'll try to catch you up. Oh, Dakota made it here. All right, Dakota, welcome, buddy. And did I say Fox? Fox Can Fix It made it. Justin Van Tilburg is here.
I don't know if it'll work. I'm going like...
Your co-host left the chat, brother.
That's all right. He's left the chat. I got Squeaky in the dark over here. Old Squeaky's behind me. But so going back to Hot Rod 100. So at the last minute, Ray invites me to go do this road trip. I mean, truly just kind of road testing this thing, proving that it is, in fact, a street car. And God, it was so much fun. But during this event, we're bumping into all kinds of people. people we've never met before, people that know us from our channels. And one of them that we bumped into is a fellow YouTuber. And so I want to introduce you guys to this fellow. He's got some really cool stuff, a great channel. And I guess without further ado, we're going to welcome Jamie from Twisted Angle Garage.
What's up, everybody?
Welcome, sir.
All right, so
we're blessed with my presence for the night.
So yes, we're on the Pontiac Power Hour, but that does not mean that you have to have a Pontiac. We know that you love Pontiacs, and we know that you're a fellow YouTuber. So tell us what you're working on right now.
Well, currently, most of my time is getting devoted to my 54 Plymouth, the Green Monster rat rod burnout car. But my daughter's getting ready to turn 16, so a lot of my time is going to get devoted to the 77 square body that I just gave her for Christmas. So that's about what my time's getting devoted to. I probably got to spend some time on one of my wife's cars at some point, though. So we've got all kinds of cars. I got old Bel Airs, Volkswagens, all kinds of stuff.
See, Volkswagen, now you're talking my language, because I'm a muscle car guy through and through, but I have a soft spot for Volkswagens. I just say.
We've got
so
well,
fun.
My wife has a 72 Bug, not me. She does. Let me make sure that's clear. It's not mine.
I drive it, man.
I like the car. I love Volkswagens. I grew up fixing them and having fun with them and driving the crap out of them. But she will let you know that that is her car, not mine or anybody else's.
I had a 72 Baja Bug. And
I would like to get me a nice Baja Bug to just have fun. So we had a kind of his and hers type thing. But
mine started nice and it did not end that way.
That's usually how my stuff ends up, unless I'm trying to just make money on it. I end up just tearing stuff up and having fun with it. But that's what it is for me, and just having fun with the passion of cars and just enjoying it.
Yes, sir.
Looks like Wolfpack Garage Vlog came in. Just want to welcome him into the chat. All right, so obviously I got to see the awesome burnout green-eyed monster. That thing, out of all the hundreds of cars that were at this event, that's the one that immediately attracted me, and I said, I got to go see that car. So I beelined for it, and then of course met you, and here we are. So, you know, with all the stuff you've been working on, how long have you been on YouTube?
So when 2020 happened and there was nothing, you couldn't go do anything. I'm an outdoor guy. I mean, I love fishing and going to the lake and just anything outdoors. I grew up doing all that hunting and stuff. So I was like, I'm going to start a YouTube channel, just going outdoors on my boat and having fun and stuff like that. So for 2020, I had an outdoor channel and just kind of learned how it worked and stuff like that. Well, when Starbird happened in 21 or something like that, I was later in 21, I think it was. I was just like, I'm going to start a channel for my auto shop. And that's just kind of when it started. So just a couple of years, I've really been going at it. Really, that's about it. I've been working at other social media. I really concentrated on Instagram for quite a while to get it built up. And then I started putting my efforts elsewhere into YouTube and things like that. So really about a couple of years probably on this side.
Very cool.
And you also told me when I was talking to you about your interest in the No Name Nationals, which most people in our chat is familiar with and have attended.
I met at Starbird this year. I was parked by, I can't remember the guy's name. He owns Hiscox or something like that, machinery or something in, I think, Oklahoma or something. He brought it up to me, and there was an older gentleman parked next to him, and we got to talking about it, and that's kind of what piqued my interest in it. And then I'd kind of looked some of the stuff up, and I was like, well, wait a minute, I already follow some of these channels anyways. And so I kind of looked a little deeper into it, and we may try to actually make it this year, depending on my scheduling conflicts, because I've got a few other events that I'm trying to get to. So, and I think that's my anniversary weekend, so we'll see how that goes. I think the wife's on board to go, but we'll just see what all the plans are in works.
Just tell her you have an awesome anniversary weekend planned in Sykeston, Missouri. It'll be very romantic.
Going to the track is not a big deal at all. Actually, we was at Rogersville at ORP last Saturday for the No Prep. I took the whole family out there, and I shoot media there, so I was off filming and stuff, and all my wife and 2 daughters were down just watching the cars and having a blast. So it's pretty common for us to all be at the racetrack anyways. So it's not that's not really an issue. She'd love it anyways. She's a car person, so she goes to car shows and takes her own photos and things like that. So she's naturally just a car person too.
Well, that's awesome.
I'll bring some candles that smell like, burnout, and then that'll be like a romantic dinner, but it'll smell like burnout.
But she's used to that smoke around me.
Perfect.
Yeah. That's a pretty common scent around my cars, especially my Mustang.
Yeah. I got enough tire smoke last week that if there was any smoke left in those tires, I think we got it all out, because you need to, let it out every once in a while. It builds up, and it makes it right.
Yeah, you just got to let a little bit of the freedom out every now and then. Let the bald eagles fly, as Cletus says.
Oh, I let the bald eagles fly.
I'm pretty sure I heard. I'm pretty sure Ray said America and then just went for it.
Oh yeah,
definitely. Let's see. Nathan Mopar Garage pop in. Old man in the shop, built not bought, and Heaven's Mopars, Scott with an S. Lars is here. What is it? Oh, they're working on the Blazer. Look out.
So Lars and his buddy, forgot.
JB.
Sorry, JB. JB's little shop.
Sorry, JB.
They have a little S10 Blazer they're working on that's got a 2.8 liter with a supercharger.
Nope,
this thing's got a nasty.
That sounds like fun. That'd be interesting.
The trash truck has the supercharger on it.
That's right.
Oh.
I got them mixed up. But this thing, the trash truck has a nasty cam in it. It's the most wicked 2.8 liter you'll ever hear in your life.
It does not sound like your typical 2.8. It's got a nice little lope, and then of course the supercharger. It's sweet.
That's
interesting.
More of
it does
different stuff.
Anybody can build a small block 350 or 454. Just anybody can.
It's like
build
putting an LS together.
Like
I can do that in my sleep. Anybody can do that. But I've got a buddy that works on exotic foreign stuff, and that stuff he talks, and it goes so far over my head. No.
Well, like the 12 cylinder we saw at the Hot Rod 100.
That was by far probably my favorite car there.
Mine
just because it was so unique. And did we find out, was that a Lincoln engine?
It was a Lincoln Zephyr.
It was a Lincoln Zephyr engine. That car was just so cool. And he took off down the road, and I think he caught like a second gear scratch when he took off down the main road.
Man, he cruised that thing the whole way
with this massive 12-cylinder engine and a seat. That was it. That was all there was to it.
Yeah.
What else do you need?
That's really all you need.
It looked like some crazy old race car that just,
yeah,
that's the only way to describe it.
Is what I thought.
Kind of like a salt flat car. If it would have had like some type of a cage in it or something, it would have really set out.
Mm-hmm.
It was wild. I really wanted to drive it.
I want to drive about anything. It doesn't matter what it is. I grew up driving tractors and everything in between, and it's just fun to drive new things, and anything you can accomplish that you didn't know. Hey, that's a great feeling.
Well, that brings me to my next question. So, what was your first car?
My first car was a 70. I think it was a 78 Nova.
Yeah, not bad.
It was a 78 or 79 Nova. I don't remember. It's the one they have the 3 tail lights on each side on the back. Shameless plugs.
It's gonna just keep going all night.
Self-promotion.
Yeah.
Hey, don't look at my monitor in the back.
Yeah, you have a cool setup back there.
But it was a 78 or 79 Nova. 2-door, had a 305 in it, gutless as all get out, had rally wheels on it. It was maroon, red vinyl interior, and it ran like a top. That was now that I look back, that car was amazing. It just ran so good. I loved it. And I kind of wanted to be a mini truck guy at the time, so I convinced my parents to sell it and I bought a mini truck, an old Ranger, and put hydraulics on it and put a camper on the back and cut it out, made a Texas walkthrough, and had all kinds of fun with it and gotten all kinds of trouble with it out cruising in Springfield by the cops because they did not like the hydraulics on that thing. But we knew it was what it was. We had fun with it though. But yeah, an old Nova. That was my first car.
Nice.
So hey, are you going to go to the car show in Springfield this coming up weekend?
Are you talking about the Midwest Muscle?
Yeah.
I actually live, right down the road from it, so I'm probably going to go and film it. I was debating on what I was going to do. I was either going to do the circuit drag and drive cruise out of Joplin at the Mocan track, and kind of film that on Saturday and maybe go back and film the drag races on Sunday. Well, then I kind of think that I actually want to just go ahead and stick around, and I'm going to go film the Midwest Muscle show. But then I think in the afternoon I'm going to head to, was it Lebanon, I believe, for the Hillbillies and Hot Rods car cruise in Buffalo. Yeah, that's where it's at, Buffalo.
Cool. So I'm going to have my car, and my son, Mr. Polo C4, he's going to have his Corvette up there. So we'll be up there. So if you see us, stop by.
It's going to be packed. That is for sure. I don't remember how many spots they had, but they completely sold out of them, I believe.
500 something
like 500 or 600, I think, and they sold out. So it ought to be a really good show. I'll at least probably go to it because I can get some good content out of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not taking anything to it though.
I almost wasn't going to be taking my car because during the cruise, so when me and Buff went to get on the interstate, I may or may not have got a little nutty getting onto the interstate. And
we just kind of did a little,
just following the curvy road signs.
So my rear brakes, the line was apparently rubbing on my shock. And so I lost
I had seen something in the video that said you thought the shock might have been leaking and you lost your back brakes.
Yeah. So then we was in the cruise and I went to push on the brakes and my pedal went to the floor. Like absolutely nothing. So I made
that is an absolutely scary feeling.
That was a moment. That was a moment when he's like, we don't have brakes.
I've been there.
Well,
I've been there.
The pin came out of the brake pedal where it goes into the little horseshoe for the thing. So I had brakes. I just,
just didn't have a pedal.
Just didn't have a pedal.
Just having to have a pedal.
And my buddy's lowered C10 was in front of me. Well, it's actually his wife's. And I was like, oh God.
This is going to hurt emotionally and physically.
Yeah, this is going to suck because, I'm going to have to fix. I don't know what you said.
Not a clue.
I said she's going to hurt you later.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'm probably a little scared of her. Probably more her than him. But it all worked out. I made a right-hand turn. There happened to be a gas station or something right there. We just made a right-hand turn quickly into a parking lot. Yeah.
I'll ditch my car, hit a wall, hit a tree, whatever, before I'll do everything in my power to avoid hitting somebody else's car. I mean, if I wreck my own stuff, it's on me. But, man, I when somebody tears my stuff up, it gets aggravating unless it's something I've like, hey, go tear it up. But yeah, I just can't stand it when somebody's car gets messed with that is on somebody else's power. Yeah, I've been in them bad situations before.
So we finished the rest of the cruise, and they picked a nice, awesome cruise. I don't remember what highways. We was on a bunch of highways, hilly and curvy, and
yeah, they change it every year. I wish they would kind of keep some of it the same, so you could kind of go through some of the same little town areas, and it kind of be cool for a yearly cruise. But I like the idea of it changing. I've been on it several times. I haven't driven it in a couple of years though. I've went to the stopping spot a couple. And other than this year, I didn't. But last year and the year before, I went to Crane and filmed at the park.
That turbo manual car. It was fun on them curves and stuff. I was having a blast.
Yeah,
I was wishing everybody wasn't driving so slow in front of me, but
that's the fun, interesting thing about that cruise is because you get the guys that want to just go And then you get the guys that are out there like me and my 55 Bel Air that I'm literally doing like 45 and a 55 or 60.
Well, I probably would have too if I, I mean, if I had anything else. But I was like, man, that was the first time I really had it in the curves and stuff. And man, it handles so good for a muscle car. And
I mean, those cars have got a pretty wide track on them. I mean, they're pretty set to the ground. I mean, do you know what kind of horsepower you have in it?
Around 700.
Sporty.
Yeah, and it's got lower Eibach lowering springs, urethane bushings. The whole rear suspension's been redone. So, I mean, it's not really stock. It's got 1-inch sway bar in the front. So
it holds pretty flat then.
Yeah,
for a regular car then, anyways, I would imagine.
It definitely does not have the body roll that comes normally with a muscle car.
How much does that thing weigh? Good Lord, it's gonna be like, what's it, 3,500, 4,000? What is that's a heavy car, isn't it?
It weighs 3,250 without me in it.
That's a little less than I thought.
Yeah, so
I guess loaded down with some guys in it, 3,500 pounds. Yeah,
it's full interior, roll cage. I mean, it's not a stripped down race car.
That's one thing I like about people. They're like, "Oh, it's a street car." I'm like, where's your interior at? You ain't even got a cup holder. Oh, come on.
Well, I don't have a cup holder.
Well, it didn't come with one though. I mean, yours was supposed to have the little hangy things on the window. I mean, they were like a 4-pack for like $1.
You know where to find those?
Hey. I
wanted to mention does
Mars.
Special showed up
from Mars. And get some SpaceX Starlink from Elon Musk.
Mongrels, hello.
Wasted Talent Fabrications here.
I hear words.
Kind of every other word.
Show. Hey, it's quality internet out in the country.
There you are.
Last week, so
I love my quality country internet. Granted, I'm on my home internet right now, so
yeah.
I've had my home internet look like his actually.
Mine was until I changed it about a month ago, and I had to get rid of what I had and got new service, and it works much better now.
Yeah. Well, I normally have like 4 kids gaming while I'm trying to stream my podcast, so it's
I've got 2 daughters that live on whatever platform they want to be on that day, anyways. I guess. I mean, from one day to the next, hell, I don't know what it is. I just stick to what I want to do, and they do their own thing on theirs, and got to make sure they're not getting trolled by too many people. I guess they're teenagers. You got to watch that.
What is it? What is he talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about there, Shopcat. What is ski? Maybe I don't want
Shopcat Industries.
Oh.
And somebody's and the moms. I mean, hot soccer moms. I mean, they tend to work for less than $20.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You got to watch those Canadians. You never know.
Eh?
Eh?
So Mongrels came. Yeah, Mongrels Garage. He's from Canada. He was down there. He was down there at the No Name Nationals last year, racing Big Block 402's Mustang. I think he was actually outrunning Big Block 402's truck with his Mustang.
Just for Brent. I got you, Brent.
Oh, cowboy man. Up.
If you're on Square Body Ranch, you got to have a cowboy hat.
I rock a straw hat anymore. That's about all you'll get out of me. But they keep my head cool. I get hot as I'll get out when I'm down on the racetrack.
Oh man, yeah, that ain't no doubt.
Yeah, it gets pretty hot down there on a hot day, but yeah, I definitely love my straw hats, especially out mowing grass. They make a big difference.
I figured this will help keep my ears from getting all burned this weekend. Plus, it looks good when you're driving a square body. You got to have your cowboy hat.
I mean, if you're just driving a square body, it doesn't really matter what you're wearing. I mean, hell, I've had friends do it naked and still look good. It's a square body.
Yeah, you can drive a square body naked. Cool.
You know you're cool if you're driving a square body naked.
I noticed Chad stopped and turned around. I was like, God, this is a family show. Please don't start stripping, Chad.
But we have a weird family, so it's okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you would fit right in with mine then.
Oh yeah,
they a little out there. Probably why I don't talk to many of them, but
I know I saw John Wilburn come in here, and there he is again.
Hi, John.
John was one of the channels that actually I was subscribed to that I had found out when I got back from Starbird that I looked up and was finding out about the No Name Nationals. It was his channel.
I really think if you got your schedule clear, you should definitely try to make it. We can convoy up there.
Yeah, I mean it's not like it's a long drive for me or anything like that.
Right.
So,
but I mean, we all got connected because of that.
Yeah.
So we can thank John for the fact that I'm even at the Square Body Ranch and talking to Ray and now talking to you and all these guys in the chat.
And everybody else and ladies.
And ladies.
I actually started my channel because of the No Name Nationals. You know Dalton from Pole Barn Garage with the Holy Goat.
I think so. That's one of the things I'd have to see it to remember probably.
Oh, you'd know it if you've seen it. It's a 70 GTO that's got like 250,000 bullet holes in it.
So it's a Bonnie and Clyde car.
I think it's like 10.
There was a Mopar club that used this GTO for target practice for a whole lot of years. And go check him out, Pole Barn Garage. He's an interesting guy. But so he challenged me to a race at No Name. So I started my channel to build the 500. So, in a little over a year, I'm up to almost 2,100 subscribers. So it's a
fun journey. I crossed over 1,800 today, and I mean it's just upward momentum. I mean I work hard at it every day. I'm trying to make it something productive and entertainment for people to learn things. I mean I really love teaching things. I've got some educational videos on my channel of just various things, and people watch them all the time. They love them. They ask advice on how to do things. A guy got a hold of me the other day because he was having problems getting a vintage air kit into a 65 C15 is what he said. And I was like, well, that dash is a GMC dash because it had the big funny curve on it and this and that. And he's like, yeah, my cluster just falls through. And I had to give him a link to find there's an adapter that you put in, and then the aftermarket Dakota Digital cluster will go into that. And, I love being able to help people like that. I mean, that would, like I said, I'm trying to set my shop up kind of to be able to do more production out of it. And I would really like to be able to teach people how to do a lot of stuff on their car that they don't need to pay people to do. It's super easy to do with just, a little bit of knowledge. Most people and kids can fix anything on their cars and their classics without having necessarily special tools. I'm not telling them to tear into some expensive motor or anything like that, but they can definitely learn how to do basic suspension work and stuff fairly easy, and I'd love to help kids be able to do that, or adults, anybody by all means. Now that I don't, I have my mowing business and I don't rely on my auto shop so much, I can spend more time when I have something to work on. I can, make it take twice as long so I can film it out a little better and, make good content for people.
I'm just going to say that anytime I get something that I've never worked on before, that's the first thing I do is I hop on YouTube, and because somebody out there's done it.
There's not a whole lot on modern cars, or cars in general that I can't generally work on or figure, just do it without having to look things up other than maybe torque specs and things like that. What I do use it a lot for is shortcuts. You will learn a lot of shortcuts from people that, like there's certain dashes you got to take out to do heater cores in these certain cars that it calls for like 12 hours. You can have it done in 4 hours if you know the right shortcuts and the secrets, and it's all over YouTube. So anything like that is great.
Oh yeah. 6%. Have a good night. You and Roland both.
I think I only caught one car on fire.
That's all.
And that wasn't yours.
Yeah, those are rookie numbers. I know.
I've caught a few on fire. I'll put my foot up here too.
It may be more than that.
So funny story about catching the car on fire. I was working on a pumper truck, a great big septic pumper truck. I had to put a new 427 in this old pumper truck, and it ran on propane. Well, I did not know that the new engine had a smaller gear on the camshaft for the distributor. So I put it in, get ready to prime everything and crank it over and stuff like that. And it primes just fine. Well, then I actually go to put ignition to it and it starts backfiring and running funny. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I start messing with it again. And, I didn't think anything about being a distributor issue and timing. And one of the times it just happened to pop and backfired. And that propane burned so hot, so fast, that blew the side of the carburetor off. And literally, you could see where it melted the aluminum and like boiled it out like stalactites, where it got so hot and blew the side off that carburetor. And yeah, then I found out the distributor wasn't turning, like it would just yank around as it was turning because the gear was the wrong size. That was an interesting fire under the hood when that popped and went off, and it burned out pretty quick because it just burned the fumes that it just blew out. But I'd never heard a backfire so loud in my life. I'm surprised I didn't have to change my pants after that one because it scared the crap out of me. It was so loud.
I'm not going to lie. I may be guilty of dropping a few small block Chevy distributors in 180 out.
I've done that a million times. That's it pop bangs, and I've done it on hot rods and, high horse engines and stuff like that. And, it sucks and it's loud. But when that propane went, it was so ungodly loud, like an explosion. It scared me to death. Probably the boss too that thought I just blew the shop up, but we just figured out the problem and moved on and got the truck running and out the door with a whole different distributor later and a bigger gear.
Danny Boyd, that's because they don't break, man. Toyotas, you change the oil and do a tune-up and a timing belt and just friggin' drive them.
Yeah, for the most part, Toyotas will run forever if you take care of them. I mean, all cars have their quirks. That's one thing I learned working on them over the years. But like some of them cars, like Toyotas and Nissans and stuff, if you take care of them things, they will run forever. Yeah. Most people don't know how to change oil. That's the problem. I change my oil every 3,000 miles, and I take the valve cover off, and it's caked in there. It's like brownie batter. No, you don't. This has been like 15,000 miles multiple times. Yeah, it's fun.
So I worked as a mechanic professionally for a few years, and one of the guys I worked with had worked at a Chevy dealership, and when the 4th Gen F-Bodies was new, a lady had bought a Camaro, and they told her no maintenance for 100,000 miles.
She took that as no oil changes.
The car had 50,000 miles on it and had never had an oil change in it. Yep. It made it 50,000 miles with no. Mark said when they pulled the drain plug, like he was poking it and his sludge was coming out. So that's pretty impressive, actually.
I have had to take sticks and poke in the drain plug to get sludge to come out of them before. And that's usually when I'm replacing the motor. So life lesson to the customer. I don't necessarily like spending $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 on a motor when I can spend $50 on an oil change. Then again, I've got old cars that I literally won't put oil in them until it starts to tick. Put some oil in it, and we'll move on with our day.
Oh yeah,
It's running out, so it's getting fresh oil or it's burning it. So change the filter every few, maybe every 6-8 months. It'll be good to go. Especially an old small block Chevy.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Small block Chevy, the timing right below the timing cover on the front of the oil pan is probably going to leak oil there.
Oh yeah.
The oil valve covers leak. Just put oil in it. Lifter start ticking. Put a quarter or two of oil in it.
Yeah, an old small block will run forever. I've got a 74 Camaro that's set for 18 years, and I literally did absolutely nothing to the engine except change the oil, some maintenance to it, new distributor because it was burn up. I ended up getting the car running and drove it for a year and a half as a daily driver. And the engine, it still runs good to this day. It's just parked out behind my parents' shop until I finally decide to fully blow it apart and restore it.
Those are getting pretty popular now. They're worth quite a bit.
Mine's a 74, so it's got that ugly aluminum solid front bumper on it. And I'd actually like to take and put a split bumper front end on it when I do actually restore the car. The car is an heirloom car. My dad bought it for my mom in like 84 or something like that. So I'll never sell the car. So at some point, I'm going to actually fully restore the car. Whether I keep it, my daughter gets it, and she does it, who knows what. I mean, I've got another daughter that's coming up of age. So here in a couple of years, she may want to decide to tackle a project like that. I don't know. So we'll see.
Mongrel says he's got 250,000 miles on his Charger. Is that a V8 Charger or a 6-cylinder?
Well, it can't be one of them little 3.6s or whatever. Them are the worst engines ever made.
Was it the Pinstar V6 or whatever they call it?
It's
somebody asked. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
A Hemi will run forever if they're maintained. They had a few years that had there was an issue with the valve seats or something like that, and they would drop down into the cylinder and they would just like gravel. They would chew up the everything. It would destroy the piston. Hey, look who's back.
He's doing all the work. I'm just sitting here.
So you're going to be driving Cream Puff, huh?
Yep.
So Cream Puff's what, mid-70s short bed Chevy?
79.
79. I don't know how to tell the difference between 73 and 79, but because they all kind of look the same.
I prefer the round headlight versions. Don't matter what square body it is, but I'm partial to the round headlights. I'm not much on the double square light options later on in the years. They're just I'm not about them.
I like the round headlights too, but I love like the 91 Suburban front end right before they changed to the. Yeah.
Like the van. The van has those little headlights on it.
I think those look so good.
Where's your camera?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's all cream puffy.
There.
So
that's its name. Cream puff. Yeah, that's what I call it. Did you know that, or is that coincidence?
Oh, we talked about it.
Oh.
We've been talking about it. I do forget things pretty quick, though.
Yeah.
It was on Instagram.
So is it got,
all right.
It's a small block truck, or you got a big block crammed in there?
Yeah, it's just right now. It's just got a little 350, a little bit of a cam in it, intake and headers. Nothing real special.
How big's the shot?
It don't have a shot on it. The truck on the trailer has a 150 shot with a big block.
Okay.
I went up to. Do you know Clayton Lamb?
Yep, I'm good friends of his.
Okay. I went up to his shop last weekend or last Friday and put that truck on the dyno, just playing around. We made.
I seen a
really
picture
mild
of it.
big block. Yeah, it's just a really mild big block. It wasn't in there for racing or anything, but it's just something to get the truck motivating. So, but it's still made with the 150 shot. It made right at 460 horsepower and 634 on the torque at like 3,500 RPM.
That's not bad numbers.
Yeah.
No.
It's enough to get it down the road, that's for sure, and have fun with. I mean,
yeah.
everybody tries to talk like you need
numbers.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
don't need 1,000 horsepower to have fun.
No.
Look at this. These guys are trying to get me an Aztec, a Fiero. Like I've got a cool Brian Vantana. I don't need anything else right now.
You need a Pontiac Montana.
No, I had one of those.
I did too. It's actually one of the best fans I had.
It wasn't the worst for sure. The latest van is the coolest.
Oh yeah, but you need a Pontiac fan because you're a Pontiac guy.
You put a Pontiac in. I have 400. Just saying.
There you go.
I think I want to turbo
Irish?
the 4.3 first, though.
Yes.
Irish Outlaw Garage. Hello, sir. Welcome.
Hey, that reminds me. After our show, jump over to Cars and Cussing at Irish Outlaw Garage. I've set up the redirect, so it'll pop up in the chat, and you guys can just redirect right over to the show. Yeah, glad to see him in here.
Jensen Hunter.
I think we got everybody caught up.
Oh, man.
All right, so we were talking about your favorite Pontiacs at one point, and you kind of told me a little bit about what shows what you chose. So why don't you tell all our audience here about your favorite Pontiacs?
I caught like part of that. Something about tell the audience about my favorite Pontiac. We could go with that. So when I was a kid, my dad had a 76 Grand Prix. It was red interior. Loved the car. It was, just a fun old car. And then he always had it, and I got a little older, and then he painted it white and put white walls on it and had rallies on it. And I really loved that car. I used to ride around with him all the time out in Vegas where we lived at. And I'm just really partial to those quite a bit just because of the nostalgia of, my dad. He's been gone for a long time. So it just makes me think of him. That was his last hot rod. He always told me stories about, he grew up in the 50s and had, all kinds of crazy hot rods growing up when they were brand new. What's classics and hot rods to us, he had them brand new and used to, do that whole greaser stuff back in the 50s and stuff like that. So that kind of makes me think of him. But, there's a lot of other Pontiacs that really I'm not partial to about any big rounded body 50s like a Chieftain or anything like that. I love that era of cars. I mean, probably realistically, to be honest, my favorite Pontiac is the kit car, the Knight Rider 2000. That just because I loved that show so much growing up in that era. I was born in '81, so I grew up watching that show, and I just loved that car. It was so cool and futuristic back then. You look in the inside of it, it's got all of them buttons and stuff going everywhere inside of it. It was so cool. I mean, I loved that car so much. The coolest one I have owned, though, I had a Burt Reynolds 77 style with the big block in it back, I was 17 or something like that. And it was a fun car. It's probably a good thing I got rid of it because I probably would have killed myself. I had some buddies that didn't think it would do donuts, and I guess they didn't realize what the car was. And we went down to a parking lot with 5 of us in there and just was cutting figure eights and donuts like nobody's business. And they all realized real quick that the car was no joke. And I mean, nothing today's standards, but back then it was crazy to have fun in though for a while. That was my my favorite that I owned anyways. I'm not sure if I've even owned any other Pontiacs. I've had so many cars, I don't remember what I've owned. That's a bad thing. I've typically got like 10 of them at a time. So
I know that. So
Irish Outlaw Garage has a ambulance, a Pontiac ambulance. That thing's cool. Artemis the ambulance.
That would be cool. I'm partial to different things. So I've got a buddy that's in the hearse club here locally, and I've got to work on his hearse a few times, and he's got a bunch of them. He's got a creepy, oh my God, it's like a 57 or 58 or something. Cadillac or something hearse, but it's just creepy. Like it's still got the old curtains in it and stuff, but it's so cool. I love that old stuff to death. I'm just, it don't even have to be old. One of my friends has got a, I don't know, is it 80 something's Caprice or something like that. That was an old hearse, and he's got it all Ghostbustered up and stuff like that, and with lights on the top and the siren and everything. It's super cool. I love that car to death just because it's different. I mean, that's why my green monster, I built it just because it's different. I've got a 55 Bel Air that's got, I think it's probably got like 18,000 miles on it. It's an unrestored, completely original car. I get it out maybe 6 times a year or something like that. And it's great, I'll get it out and go cruise it and have fun. And I hate getting it out because it's like a time capsule going down the road and people just stare at it, and I'm afraid somebody's going to hit me. So I really do like getting the different stuff out and just having fun with it instead.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing. Every time I drive my car, I'm like, God, I hope nobody hits me, because I've had some close calls, and I just don't know if I'd be responsible for my reaction if somebody hits me.
Well, it's do you guys know who Brad? I think it's Basher is his name. He's got a 30-something Ford. Some lady or guy, I don't even know, guy or woman, cut him off like a week ago in his old Ford, and he had nowhere to go but plow straight into him and crushed the whole front of his car. But the worst part of it was it hurt his girlfriend pretty bad. It tore her knee up, and she's got a real bad cut under her chin and stuff like that. That's the worst. The car can be fixed. He said it didn't really damage anything from the firewall back, so he can just put a new front end on it. But it hurt his girl pretty bad. So that sucks worse than anything.
Yeah, she hobbled over to my car with her leg brace on and took pictures of it.
That's right. I seen the picture of her standing next to it. Yeah, hobbled over there. Yeah, he's like, oh, I guess I'll just take out my old truck, I guess, and drive it around. I'm like, dude, quit complaining because you got another classic to drive.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a 7. He's got. I'm building a 72 C10 with my dad. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of my dad's favorite body style. It's not really mine. Mine's 62 to 60 or 60 to 66 is my favorite body style.
I'm a square body nut. I don't care what year square body it is, as long as it's a
square body. I knew there was something about you I really liked.
So the reason why is my uncle, he's been dead, gone a long time. All my life growing up, he's part of the reason that I love going out on boats and fishing and hunting. And I don't hunt anymore, but going out in the woods and being part of nature. All he ever drove in his entire life was square body trucks. That's all he ever, until he was like 80 years old. Then he had an OBS, but nothing any newer than that. But he had them old yellow crap colored faded orange trucks all the time. He went through a bunch of them, but I used to ride everywhere with him, and I loved him so much. Like I used to read on the pedal where it says disc brakes and stuff like that. I remember going down the road and just reading that as a kid so many times over and over, because I rode in the truck so many times. And it's probably one of the first trucks that I drove, most likely, with him. But that's just square bodies are just they're ingrained in me. I mean, I will probably go through them until the day I die, most likely.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to pause for 1 second. And just so we don't run out of time, I want to make sure we hit our Pontiac trivia, sponsored by Super Clean. And we have turned the Pontiac Power Hour into the Square Body Hour.
The Square Body Hour?
It seems to be.
Yeah. Hey, you know what though? Pontiacs and square bodies go
together.
I mean, I'm more like the horsepower power hour. So, I mean, we can just go all directions. I mean, I work on everything. So
absolutely. All right. So I know that my internet isn't great. So if I cut out, I'm sure you guys can read the questions on your own. But we want to hit these questions, and I kind of based them off of what Jamie said his favorites were. So in 1976, Pontiac debuted an anniversary edition Pontiac Grand Prix. But what other Pontiac offered a special anniversary edition in 76? Was it the Catalina, the Firebird, the Phoenix, or the Sunbird? And they're already hitting it.
I'm not enough of a Pontiac guy to know.
Well, Dakota said it's a Firebird.
76, I could think of, a few ways to go about it, but I'd say a Firebird maybe. I don't know. Did they have a Centennial Edition?
It's their should be their anniversary year. Let's see. Danny Boyd says Sunbird. Gunner says Firebird. Mongrels, Mohawk, they both said Catalina. 38 says Catalina. I think we just got a random.
I'm going to go with E, one of the selections above.
Yeah, that works.
I'm making my own up.
I honestly don't know.
I mean, my first one, I was thinking Sunbird, but I don't know enough about the old Pontiac lines to really know too much about them.
I'm thinking it's a Firebird, but the 10th anniversary would be 77. So, I don't know.
It is Firebird. So this was Pontiac's anniversary, not necessarily the specific model's anniversary.
Okay.
Yeah. So it, they came out with the Grand Prix that was all gold and T-tops and all those options. And then, of course, they had to make a Firebird that also was an anniversary edition. Plus 76 was just an awesome year. I'm just going to say that. Not that anyone will believe that I'm that old. All right. So Pontiac built 2 cars for National Rental. That was the rental car agency. And in these cars, they put in special engines just to show reliability. And they toured the country with National Rental. Now, one of them was a Sunbird with the new Iron Duke engine in it, and the other was a Grand Prix. But what engine did they put in it? Was it the 455, the 350, the 301, or the Iron Duke?
I'd have to say the 301.
I'm going to be.
Danny Boyd agrees. He says 301. In fact, a lot of people are saying 301.
Gutless wonder. Had a 79 Grand Prix with a 301.
Look at Danny Boyd with the knowledge. That's why I love this show. Everybody teaches me something new. Mongrel says 350. Hammer Wrench, you're probably not far off with the gas crisis. They were also trying to prove reliability on these things to show that not only National Rental, but Pontiacs were reliable. Tony, you are correct. It's all about the fuel mileage.
Well, if they had the 301 in it, they wasn't going for reliability.
Well, believe it or not, it was the 301.
I believe
it was as yet unreleased by that point. And so the 301 came out and they put it into that Grand Prix and they toured it all over the U.S. with National Rentals fleet.
That's a 8-day week. Man.
That's a big car, too, to have a 301 in it. I'm just saying.
I'm not going to say they probably trailered it from site to site, but they might have trailered it from site to site.
Yeah, that's a big car, a little motor.
Yeah, Mongrel said he refused to make that the answer, even if it was the right one. Hey, this was not as much prototype as it was just trying to proof of concept.
Hey, there is a cult following for the 301 among Pontiac people. I'm just saying. They're all excited. They're like, "Oh, I got my 301. I spent $20,000 on it, and I got it to run $12.99." It's like,
like Danny Boyd says, sounds like a V8 pulls like a straight 6.
No, maybe a 4-cylinder.
A 4-cylinder,
yeah,
pulls like the Iron Duke. All right, next question, guys. For 1977, Pontiac Firebird had a special package labeled RPO W60. What was the package? Was it the Bandit Special? Was it the Sunbird? Was it for a high output package? Or was it the Skybird?
Hmm.
Isn't the W60 the high output option?
This is the guess.
I got to remember back to my Barrett Jackson watching days when they get to rattling all of them codes under the hood. Well, this has the W60 RPO. That means it had this. No, I don't have a clue.
I think it's a Skybird also. I know the SE cars was a
boom. Somebody picked E again. I'm going with E again.
Yeah, Nathan's pretty good with the E. Danny Boyd's guessing B. That's his second Sunbird answer. Irish says Skybird. Look at that, Mongrels with the knowledge. W72 is the high output.
And Y88, I
was
think,
close.
is that Y88's this SE car.
WS6. Yep, I might have been trying to distract with the Bandit. You know, I kind of throw these things together based on actual facts, and then just kind of get creative. Freebird, maybe. I can't play Freebird, Dakota, because then they'll demonetize me. I don't want to do that.
You throw a whopping like 6 whole seconds of it on there.
That's still too much. They'll ding you for that.
I think I had one up for like 4 seconds and they got me.
It's funny sometimes. I mean, I'm not quite monetized yet, so I'm not concerned about it. But it's funny how I pay for all my music, so I don't have to worry about it. But some of that stuff gets flagged like 4 seconds, and then they'll let you play like 15 seconds of the same song.
Tim Windsor, welcome, buddy. All right, so most of you got the answer correct. It is the Skybird. Now, they had the yellow bird, they had the red bird, but they didn't call this one the Bluebird because there was already a bus called the Bluebird. So rather than deal with all of the issues with, using the Bluebird name, they called it the Skybird.
My dad's best friend back when I was a kid had one of them.
Yep, I've seen one in the wild.
It sat in front of our house for a while. Dad was supposed to move. We worked on it a little bit. And I thought it was the coolest Firebird since the Bandit.
Mm-hmm.
But I always thought it was weird it didn't have the spoiler on the back. So why didn't it have the spoiler on the back? Because I was like 8 or 9.
This right here. Esprit. It was the Esprit package, and then you got the upgrade to color. Yeah, they're cool.
I didn't know that when I was a kid.
No.
That's no Trans Am or Firebird.
Supposed to have all
that. Yeah. Like, why don't have all the cool stuff on it?
All right. I think there's another one. Yep. All right. So in 1976, how many Grand Prix total out of all of the ones that they made, how many were sold in 1976?
302,000. I'm sticking with it. That's my final answer.
Was it 198,231? Was it 228,091? Was it 302,765 or 500,001?
I'm going to go with 228 just because I like that number, I guess.
Are we doing Price is Right rules? Closest without going over?
There is a right answer. No whammy, stop. Let's see. Gunner says E. So he's got to be right. So let's see. They're all over the place again. Irish says A. Cousin Mike says B. Dakota says A. Hammer Wrench is going with 302. Tony says 500,000. Flat Tires says A. All right. So Jamie picked C.
I picked B.
B. Hunter picks B.
Oh, I'm wrong.
Scott with an S, he picked A. Danny Boyd, he's like, well, it's A or B. It doesn't end in 1. It doesn't, or does it? If you have a time machine, I want to know how you afforded that DeLorean. And how did you get it to run 88? Because those things don't run that fast.
No. They're sketchy if they do.
Yeah. But the correct answer is B, 228,000.
See, I told you 228,000. I was right on.
And that includes all the Grand Prix. And, that's actually pretty impressive number considering the Chevy Monte Carlo, 353,000. So, Pontiac was definitely getting real close to GM or Chevy numbers there. It's pretty good.
Hey, I'm just gonna say square bodies and Pontiacs do go together. See, I'm sure you guys, it's Photoshop, but
yeah.
Oh, somebody needs to build that.
Do that again.
Is it the GTO with the? Yeah.
Yeah. How come you haven't built that yet?
I don't know.
Whoops.
For the GTO, so that's why I haven't.
I mean, we know a guy with one full of bullet holes, but
wrong year though.
Yeah. I don't know. They're all good. Oh yeah, there you go. Cousin Mike will LS swap our DeLorean, just so Hunter can be upset with us.
They do sell that kit, and that's probably get rid of that Renault 3.2 liter, and it probably would hit 88 miles an hour. That's how you know that's a science fiction movie, because the car hit 88 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It wasn't that they went back in time. It's the DeLorean hit 88 miles an hour.
Can't afford a square body either anymore. That is no doubt. Man, people have been killing the price on square bodies. It is absolutely ridiculous.
Because somebody keeps hoarding them.
No, I don't hoard.
Man, I don't care if somebody hoards them or not, man. When people have got the most rusted out junk in the world and they think because one sold for $110,000 at Barrett Jackson, they've got one worth $12,000. That's like an $800 truck because it's got a good front clip on it.
Yeah.
Your long bed, rusted out, bent hood, square body is not worth $5,000.
No.
It's just not.
As a roller.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a roller.
I know what I got.
It's got the 4-bolt main, man. With
4-bolt
main. Got the 4-bolt main.
Got the 4-bolt main with the camel humps and the
camel humps. Good Lord, you're talking about some old school, like ancient, no horsepower technology.
Got 650 double pumper.
And 3/4 race cam.
3/4 race cam. There it is. It had to come out, the 3/4 race cam. What does that even mean? I don't know.
I go off specs.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got a spec card that says it's got this duration, this lift, this separation. Yeah.
Yep, Dakota knows. All right, guys. Well, that's about all we got for our hour. Feel free to jump on over to Irish Outlaw Garage. I don't know if he's going to put us on a, nice little intro like he did last week, but, the only way to find out is to jump over and watch the show. And as always, we want to thank Super Clean for sponsoring the show. We always appreciate their involvement. And for that, Jamie, if you send me your address, Super Clean is going to send you out a prize pack for participating, and we appreciate you for that.
I've used Super Clean for years, man. That stuff's awesome. I've literally used it pretty much my entire career.
Awesome. And with that, guys, jump over to Twisted Angle Garage. He's on Instagram. He's on YouTube. He's on Facebook. He's out there. So go out there and check out his stuff and sub if you like it. And we appreciate you coming on, Jamie. We really do. We kind of got you last minute.
I love coming on. I got to be honest, though. This is the first podcast I've been on. I've had a bunch of people ask me to come on and talk about stuff, and I'm always just like, man, I don't know. But something just seemed right when we met the other day. I was like, hey, let's do it. So why not? So I definitely enjoyed being on. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We enjoyed it.
Yeah, stop by and see me Saturday if you go to the car show.
Yeah, I'll most likely go to it in the morning because it's only a few miles down the street. So most likely I'll come and find you.
All right, man. Sounds good.
All right. With that, guys, we're going to head out this week, but we will see you next week. So thank you guys for coming on and watching, and
keep your square bodies rolling.
There you go.